Afternoon, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? So, gonna be doing a quick recap, very quick recap of what happened today, and then gonna be reviewing my journal. So you're gonna join me in trying to find what I've done wrong, what I've done right this past month. Gonna be trying to find just stuff that could have been better, stuff that I've done in the past that would like help me perform well and stuff like that. And yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a longer video, obviously, because I'm adding the journal review to this, but it should be pretty interesting. I think we are definitely gonna find some good discoveries. I have some suspicions of what could be stuff that's adding to my trading and stuff that's not adding to my trading. Okay, so this week, I know for a fact that I was not consistent with my sleep schedule. Okay, and that's mainly rooted at the fact that I've gone to bed late. In turn, I'm either waking up late, waking up tired, or just not waking up at the ideal time. Right? So from now on, uh, gonna be waking up exactly as like the latest that I could possibly wake up is 8 a.m. Eastern time. And this weekend, I'm actually in Ecuador, so I'm like an hour behind. So for me, that would be 7 a.m. But after this weekend, it'll be the same time as New York, which is kind of nice because I'm actually gaining an hour of sleep. But I'm not gonna abuse it. I'm still gonna try to wake up earlier than that. And the latest I can wake up is 8 a.m. If I'm not up at that time, then I'm most likely not gonna trade because then I'm probably not gonna have good performance. Right? So that pretty much sums it up for that. That's one of the things is waking up at 8 a.m. EST. Okay? And another thing would be going to bed early. Going to bed early, the latest would be like 11. Bedtime at 11. Regardless of what's going on, unless, of course, it's a emergency. If it's an emergency like something personal or like something that I had to tend to at that time, then it's a no. But this week, I know for a fact it's mainly been because I've been gaming with friends. Like, I've been gaming with friends, and the past 2 days, for example, yesterday I went to bed at like midnight or past midnight, and I know for a fact that's not good. I'm not even getting my 8 hours of sleep, and yeah, if you're not getting your 8 hours of sleep, you're not gonna perform well in anything really. If you tell yourself that, you're either really young and you can afford to have poor sleep and still perform well, or you're just lying to yourself at this point. I know me personally, when I was like in high school, I could pull off like 5 hours of sleep and perform great, but that's not the case anymore. Like I'm a grown ass adult now. Not like independent or anything, but like it's not the same. Anyways, enough yapping for that. Now, on to the review of today. So, what happened today? Okay, if you remember yesterday, we marked out the fact that we had an S&T of all-time highs that ended up getting invalidated. Both NQ and ES made a new all-time high. All right, so we can mark that out over here. I was aware of that, of course, just I had my markings and I see, oh, okay, we made a new all-time high. Cool. So, obviously, you have your all-time highs context today. You could lean bullish solely because of this and the fact that we had an interest rate cut yesterday. On top of that is the fact that there were trade negotiations going on today with uh, President Trump and President Xi of China. So that could be a bullish sign, finally getting an actual trade negotiation there. But yeah, that's pretty much it with that. Then for more context clues, we also had the previous day's range that was bullish. So broke. Yesterday was Wednesday, I believe. Yeah. So Wednesday broke Tuesday's high. That means Thursday there's a possibility that the daily candle is going to close green. Bullish sign. True day open was all the way up here, and it was not traded through in London. It actually aligns pretty well with all-time highs, so solid target. Then on top of that, um, we had the fact that we traded into these low volume nodes. So this one right here, if you and all these draws on liquidity that I have marked out, we can like delete them and see what the last one was, which was, I believe it was Tuesday's low. So we swept Tuesday's low. This is not technically Tuesday's low. This is not, sorry, this is not Tuesday's low. This is Tuesday's low. Okay, and we barely swept it, but like a couple ticks. I think like 3 ticks if I'm not mistaken. This is 943. The low of this candle was 942. 3 ticks. We swept it by 3 ticks. Okay. We also swept previous low, which is FOMC low. So we can start clearing up our chart, and we traded into this high time frame low volume node. All right. So I'm gonna put this right here. Cool. We can probably, yeah, we'll do this. This looks a bit cleaner, and yeah. So obviously these high time frame low volume nodes come from the weekly profile. If you look here, right, there's a low volume node here, low volume node here, and it's, you could also see as a break and retest of this zone over here, like this, right? Break and retest of this, something like this maybe. If you trade like supply and demand or stuff like that, you could see this as a supply zone. Sorry, demand zone. Yeah, demand zone, I believe, yeah. So both the demand zone, low volume node, like you have a bunch of high time frame confluences in alignment there. So another thing that I noticed is that off the overnight, we made the new all-time high and then displaced lower and then continued the bearish trend. See how we're kind of riding the upper VWAP band lower, and then we start riding the overnight VWAP itself lower, right? London was a bit choppy, and then pre-market we actually start dumping, and then off open we reach these, we sweep all those high time frame liquidity points, and we reach these key levels, and we actually get a reaction. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I was not up at this time, so I did not see this. This was like the ideal trade. Like if you took a long, say, I don't know, here, and you had your stop maybe like 35 points or something like that, or stop at the wick if you want to be risky. Just TP at the current AM high, maybe caught a 4R or 5R or something like that, or maybe you traded towards that VWAP, maybe you caught a 5R. Either or, great trade. I did not take this since I wasn't up at that time. I also did not see the VWAP reaction, but that was another valid trade. If you took that, say you took off the retest, maybe target this unfilled for like 2 solid trades. Right, we had a conflicting bias today, right? A lot of the things that I mentioned earlier pointed to bullish, but then our NWOG was still open, so we have a high time frame target, the NWOG over here, all these drops in liquidity as well, and then the short-term bearish trend of the overnight. So yeah, you could consider a trend day, maybe just play the VWAP. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was seeing, and I decided to trade anyways. I like woke up and almost immediately hopped on the charts, and I saw we were like I was thinking about shorts initially because of the trend, how we were respecting overnight VWAP. I was looking for shorts around here, and then I was like, wait, our IB high has set second, right? For both the 45-minute and the 1 hour, we haven't broken it yet. We're around Fib levels. We're at the 618, 786 area. We're respecting this. We're breaking above New York VWAP. I'm like, cool, and I wanted to take a trade here, not only because of that, but also because of the fact that we, if I can find it really quick, saw some failed selling here. Okay, so failed selling here, right? Similar selling efforts, and we actually started putting in higher lows on the CVD with failed selling. Okay, and like just kind of volume dying out and like buyers stepping in. So as we were breaking that VWAP, I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take a trade here, but it's like if I took a trade up here, that's like a 74 point stop. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just limit order the New York VWAP. So that's what I did, and ended up getting stopped out almost immediately. All right, and my dumbass decided it was a good idea to just full port the entire drawdown that I had left on my account, which was like $370 or something like that. Which, I mean, it's not that big of a risk, but it is like all the drawdown that I have left. If you're in drawdown and you have a small amount of drawdown, you can split it up to give yourself a couple chances to actually recover the account, right? Like claw yourself out of drawdown. But my dumbass decided not to do it. Ended up getting subbed out, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I even told myself, if I get subbed out, it's fine. It's just an eval, blah blah blah. But I saw that, I'm like, damn, okay, I actually got stopped out because it looked good. You know what I mean? We had failed selling all the way down here. We had a massive buyer, so I figured like we're retesting this area as well. So it looked good for longs, just because of the high time from confluences, the IB setting, the VWAP. But then again, I was fighting this bearish trend, right? So it's kind of peeking your side, and I also like in hindsight, and this is something that I also wrote down, like my mistakes and takeaways for the day, is the fact that longs had already played out. If you took a long down here, you already missed out on a 200-point move, right? If you were looking for shorts, right, you already missed out on a 175-point move. You already missed out on two moves, right? If you were like me and you hopped on late, you already missed out on two significant moves. And my dumbass decided it was a good idea to continue trading. So it is what it is. Mistakes were made, and I will learn from them. All right. So that pretty much wraps it up for that. And now we're gonna go ahead and head into our journal. All right. So onto the journal. Had to interrupt the recording there for a second because I had to go get lunch. Had a customer call me, and yeah, had to take care of a few things, and just gonna redo the whole thing because I felt like I yapped in the other recording. But I did have some takeaways from this journal. So this journal covers from when I started the Alpha Futures account, and it lasted a week, bro. Like it wasn't. Actually, I take that back. It lasted more than a week. If we go over here to the Alpha Futures account, I started on the 20th, so 10 days. It's like barely a week, right? So last week is when I started it, and today is when I actually ended up blowing it. So week and a half, still pretty awful. But yeah, we'll go over the journal here, and I already know there's some key takeaways on this one specifically. So some key takeaways from my winners, right? From my winners, if we just look at what the winners are, all of these were actual like winners, not really like break evens with a small profit. Some of them were like stopped in like a trailing stop, or I closed them for a smaller profit than my original target, and that's okay. Still solid RR, 1.82, but I usually aim for 1 and 2. And the second column that's like loss break even is basically me saying I didn't hit full TP. My full TP was this. So like in this scenario right here, my full TP was a 4R, and I ended up closing it out for 2.17R. The next one is full TP was 2.25R, ended up closing it for 1.44R. So that's pretty much all that's saying. As you can see, the ideal type of trades are a high time frame continuation with a medium time frame continuation. And yeah, that's something I noted. For all trades, as well as clear direction and clear targets. So you can see you have session highs or low, previous week's highs or low, IV extensions, high time frame structure, data highs or lows, all-time highs, IV extensions. So clear targets on all those. And then if we just look at the losses, oh, another thing with my wins, right, is if you're looking at like entry confluences, except for the first one, the other ones, there's more than one. Okay? Right? Failed selling, fib, VWAP, fib, VWAP end, VWAP, low volume node, CVD divergence, CVD in favor, low volume node, VWAP, low volume node. So there's multiple confluences in alignment for entry confluence. And then in context, LVN, VWAP, LVN, fib, VWAP, VWAP, POC, fib, VWAP, right? So high volume nodes, low volume nodes, right? And we'll prove this with the previous one as well. And then the first one, you can't really include it in the entry confluence because it was a pre-market trade. This one was just clear direction, clear targets, just following the momentum. There's rarely any pre-market trades. I feel like between this journal and the previous one, there's been a total of like 3 scenarios where there were good pre-market trades. One of them I didn't take it. The other one I didn't take it, but it took a trade in the direction that the pre-market trade was telling me. So pretty clear. But then again, those types of scenarios don't usually present themselves that often. Like in the span of like a a month, maybe month and a half, something like that. I've seen it 3 times, right? So quite a few trading days, only seeing it 3 times. Interesting, right? And then what else? What else can we tell from these trades? So clear direction, clear momentum. The next one. Clear direction, clear momentum, continuation. Next one. Clear direction, clear momentum, continuation. And next one. This one, all-time highs context, clear direction, clear continuation. It's a bit harder to read here that we had clear continuation, but still good confluences in our favor. I think we had, what was it? Fib, VWAP, POC, Fib, VWAP, so high volume node. So yeah, pretty interesting in terms of that, in terms of our winners, in terms of like time. I remember my mentor telling me like, don't trade before 10 a.m. But you see, 2 of these are before 10 a.m. and then the other ones are like early into 10 a.m. So it's like, okay, set trades earlier in the session can be good. And then if we look at just losses, if it's empty, right, we know it's a loss. So if it's a loss, I keep it empty. That way I get the percentage, because the percentage is percent not empty, so that means it's a win. And then, yeah, in terms of our losses, it's a bit spread out. Obviously, there's a few outliers like the one at 11:30. Don't want to trade that. That was a FOMO trade. I mean, I should not be trading at that time, anyways. These two, I'm not proud. Like, not proud of myself. Grandpa wouldn't be proud. Something I used to hold myself accountable. I have a stamp on my grandpa next to me. May he rest in peace. To hold myself accountable. If I think that he wouldn't be proud of me, then it's probably a trade that I should not be taking, right? There's a few ways to frame it. Some people like to use more of an emotional connection. I'm one of those types of people. Other people are like, would I be mad at myself if I lose a trade? I've heard that one before too, and it's a pretty good one. If you'd be mad at yourself for losing the trade, like if the answer is yes, you would be mad at yourself, then you probably should not be taking that trade, right? So that pretty much sums that up. And then in terms of losses, you can see there's more high time frame retracement against my high time frame trend or bias. And if we look at these, because these are kind of stacked up, they're 2 days back to back, right? Fought all-time highs, fought all-time highs again, here, fought all-time highs again, here. This was actually a good trade, but still fighting all-time highs. So this trade actually, even though it was a good trade, which I ended up closing for a loss, should not be a trade that I take. Like this day, specifically, should have just been a day where I waited for price to actually trade higher. I ended up flipping that previous trade, and this actually did end up trading higher, making the all-time highs. So it's whatever. We now know for a fact don't follow all-time highs. I figured like, oh, if it's clear, like I'll take it. Yeah, but if it's a clear all-time highs context, you don't want to fight that. So yeah, lesson learned there. And then I think that's pretty much the main lesson with this. It's like I fought all-time highs a lot. Some of these losses I'm fine with. If we go over here, this trade was fine. It's just gotta be aware. So I'll say beware of things against your trade. Of confluences against me. Okay? So what's against me in this trade is that I wanted to see us break value area high in the upper VWAP band. I remember this clearly. I wanted to see us break upper VWAP band and value area high. You can see them right there. Didn't happen. Stayed in the trade. Had a bunch of opportunities to close it in profit or break even. Didn't take it. Ate the full loss. Cool. Next one. This one should have been more patient, I believe. And this was actually another example where we got below value area low, recovered, and then it looked like we were pushing I think it was New York VWAP and point of control, and I still stayed inside the trade, and it was looking good actually in terms of the trade itself, but still should have closed it early. And then the next one, this one was actually a great trade, and I'm counting this as one of the trades that I want to look for because it had a lot of confluences in favor. So combine at least two confluences, and I'll say the more the merrier, right? That old saying, the more the merrier. Because this trade had a lot of confluence in its favor, right? It had VWAP, low volume node, fit levels, 3 confluences in alignment, and IB low, a break and retest of IB low. So I saw that as a high probability trade. It ended up playing out, as you can see. I just had a wrong entry, wrong stop loss placement, right? So it's kind of being discretionary with gauging the reaction with your confluences, because I feel like low volume nodes, you gotta be quick with them. You gotta be quick because this trade would have been fine, but it's the fact that it was my third trade of the day, so taking another one was not possible for me because I limit myself to 3, right? But this was the ideal trade of the day, honestly, and I should have just been aware of stuff that was against me, my original trade idea. Maybe only took the first loss, or if I cut them early, I would have had enough drawdown to take this. So yeah, good trade, just poor entry, poor stop loss management. Next up, we got this trade. Didn't wait for enough confluences. I feel like upper VWAP band is harder to trade, right? I feel like also this trade was, yes, the momentum on this one was pretty strong. I remember this trade, I took 3 attempts total. The third one was the one that paid, and yeah, there's a few things here and there. Like this one, very similar trade ended up being sold out, and then the next one after that one was the winning trade. Then this one was some bullshit. This one fighting all-time highs, so now we go into fighting all-time highs. So not really that many takeaways, I'd say. It's just really not fighting the high time frame trend. It's got to be clear. It's got to be clear. Like this one. I feel like the best trade out of my losers is this one right here. That's the best trade out of my losers. The other ones is could have been more patient. Obviously, some of this is hindsight, so yeah, the main takeaway is being aware of confluences against you. Just being aware of it. Got to be more objective with that kind of stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much the main takeaway there. We'll remove this filter to kind of keep it there, and we'll head back to what I've been wanting to review for quite some time now and haven't had the chance to. So this was decent, right? There's a few days where I overtraded, and you'll see little gaps here, like the 29th, 3 trades, a few no's, right? There's a no here. There's a couple no's down here, right? So right off the bat, first trade I'm pretty sure was a great trade. I think that, yeah, this was the day where I was saying there was a pre-market trade idea. I didn't take it, but it took a trade during New York session, like after NYSE open, in the same direction that the pre-market trade was telling me. Okay. So this trade, if it'll load, that'd be pretty nice. Cool. Clear continuation, fail flip of London high, 5 minute fair value gap, waiting for a clear reaction, had true day open as my target, and yeah, first target ended up getting hit quickly, all-time highs context, high time frame, 15-minute gap, SMT down there, London low looked like a protected low to me, so yeah, that's pretty much the trade idea there. It looked really good. It looked really good to make new all-time highs. And I think I targeted all-time highs. Yeah, I targeted all-time highs and ended up getting me out. The first tick actually wasn't the one, like this first tick right here wasn't the one that got me out. I think it was the next one. Because those like to the tick. It made equal highs with all-time highs. And yeah, lower low on the CVD, higher low on price. So once again, if we look at our winners, we're going to focus on our winners here, right? We're going to look at just our winners, okay? Or what we're actually going to do is not empty, because we want to include this break-even one. See what happened there. Average trade, 2.24. There's a few retracement, but if you see, compared to the previous one, high time frame retracement, so high time frame retrace needs medium time frame continuation. So high time frame retrace needs medium time frame continuation. There's just one where it was a medium time frame retracement. We can look at what that means exactly, right? I mean, come on. This trade was pretty good. I knew like we hit some draws on liquidity. I had a bullish bias coming into the day, this day. I remember it clearly, and I knew I was trading the retrace towards a 3-minute fair value gap and a low volume node. So pretty clear in terms of that, and I went break even pretty quick on this one. Like my trade management on this one was on point because I knew I was trading a retrace. I knew I was targeting a low volume node, expecting it to get traded through and hit a 50-minute intermediate low, which actually ended up getting taken before that, but I had a clear target. I was trading off of a low volume node, trading off of a liquidity sweep, had clear confluences in my favor, right? It looked like a lot of failed buying, right? It looked like a CVD divergence, right? We even had a retest, so like I ended up getting in before the retest, but you could have gotten in before at the retest. And this was a great trade. We ended up flushing through the low volume node, right? So yeah, great freaking trade. Not much to say there. This is valid because it was very clear and I was aggressive with my stop management. So aggressive, aggro, sell on retraces. I have a lot of information here, but yeah, don't fight all-time highs. Cool. All right, and then we'll see like why is Grandpa not proud of this. Oh, because this one was a day where I overtraded and ended up just FOMOing into a trade. I think this trade actually helped me recover the account. Like my account was pretty close to being done, or I think I just had a lot of drawdown in this trade. I was over leveraged and it helped me recover the drawdown. So yeah, not the greatest. Honestly, not the greatest. Not much to say there. So what's this one? I think this was also FOMO. Yep, FOMO, because the previous trade was working out, so I'm pretty sure it was this one. Yeah, this trade ended up working out, and I FOMO'd into it hitting my targets. Um, so yeah, and this one was, I think, realizing I was wrong initially, and yeah, low volume node, like just what a day. This one, what a day. But if you see, like, sometimes trade towards liquidity. This one sweep towards liquidity. Um, confluence towards all-time highs, towards liquidity, towards liquidity. Like, there's not much to say in terms of like the confluences that I use in the higher time frame. Um, there are a few where I go against my trade, but once again, it's a medium time frame continuation. Like if we look at these, right? Um, this one, high time frame retracement, medium time frame continuation. I guess we were bearish, and I was expecting this to be a retrace, but clear continuation of the medium time frame. Then the next one, same thing, but I don't want to count that. This one, yeah, clear continuation, but this trade shouldn't exist. Yeah, this one I was aware of the retracement. And let's see if there's another one. High time frame continuation, medium time frame reversal. This is an interesting one. Yeah, high time frame continuation, strong momentum of open, and yeah. Yeah, this one was a pretty solid trade. I don't think there's much to say. Another medium time frame reversal. This one was off of an end log. Clear, low volume node with low volume node CVD divergence. Like, it's the entry confluences have to be on point for these type of trades. When it's medium time frame continuation, high time frame continuation is easier. When it's like against a trend or against a bias, you gotta get pickier. You gotta get pickier with the confluences you use and the context you build for that trade, right? I feel like this is one of those examples um, where it's like we had a new week opening gap below us. So this was just like the ideal trade. So yeah, pretty interesting to say the least. Like, there's not much to say. Like, the times are kind of spread out. There's a few, like, I want to avoid these. Maybe want to add a filter to see when Grandpa was actually proud. There's one in lunch. During lunchtime, which one was this? Oh, this one was perfect, but this was like, once again, like medium time frame continuation, retracement. I was aware of it, right? This one, high time frame continuation. Like, you see a lot of continuation. You want to take continuation trades. It's harder to take reversal trades. I don't like. I only see one here that says actual reversal, and then the other ones I'm aware. Well, two actually that say reversal, but they're very clear trades. So it's just like when it's insanely clear. If you're able to frame proper context for either side, okay, you have a neutral bias, but you're actually able to build that, right? Where reversals, it's got to be like really clear, like that end walk trade, right? Or say like, I think this one. Which one is this one? Oh, also all-time highs context on this one. So it's like, that's pretty clear to me. Um, but this is actually on October 6th. I'm pretty sure I took other trades this day. We can just double check really quick. Yeah, I actually took another trade here. Yeah, this was another trade that I took off of the initial bounce. I think it was just a clear trend day. Yeah, it was a clear trend day. Um, Low volume node had a sweep. Low time for mortifoids. Failed buying. CVD divergence. Um, this one was clear. Clear failed buying. Reaction of a volume node. Sweep. SMT. Like, I feel like it's just be aware of confluences against me. So, like, to kind of recap what I've learned from my journal so far, be aware of confluences against me, okay? And manage trades accordingly. Like, there's a couple trades where aggressive stop loss management would have helped me, right? A bunch of different trades where aggressive stop loss management would have helped me. I'm gonna actually keep this. Wow. Hey, earning reports. But anyways, from the stuff that I learned, right? Stuff that I learned has taught me. I gotta be aware of confluences against me, right? Aware of confluences against me and manage trades accordingly, which goes back to that idea: aggressive SL trailing on retraces, like that one example we saw. I was aware that I was trading the retrace, a very short time frame reversal. Okay, I was aware that it was the retrace on the medium time frames and the retrace on the high time frames. But what did I do? The first opportunity that I got to trail my stop, I took it. No matter, it wasn't even based on structure at first, and then I even scaled in to the 3 minute and trailed there, trade based on the 3 minute candle, and my TP wasn't even that aggressive. It was like the New York AM low, like the opening candle low, so pretty interesting there. And then after that, gonna be adding a box that says whether there's clear direction, I'm neutral, or conflicting. So it's just that high time frame trend bias column. I'll just add conflicting. Ideally, you want to either be in clear direction or neutral, okay? And if it's against, then it's conflicting. I feel like that's an interesting one as well. I can be against my high time frame trend, but if it says against, then it's gotta be medium time frame continuation at least, or aware of the retracement. So that kind of falls all in the same category, like conflicting and against. Conflicting and against. I'm gonna do retraces plus continuation plus aggro SL. So aggro SL adjustment, okay? So that's pretty much whenever it's a conflicting trade, like I got conflicting biases, or just going against my high time frame trend or high time frame bias. Just gotta be aware that it's a retrace. Gotta have our continuation of the medium time frame, and or either a retrace of the medium time frame, like very aware of it, and I have a clear target, or just a continuation, right? And if it's a retrace on the higher time frame, it's gotta make sense. It's gotta be like, okay, trading off of high time frame key levels, right? And clearly we're respecting those key levels. You know what I mean? Like that one Asia trade where I trade, not Asia, but New York trade where I traded towards, like we stepped Asia high, we traded towards a low volume node. We were trading from Asia high and a high time frame low volume node towards a low time frame low volume node. You could have also waited. You would have seen that low volume node get ran through, see if we recover that, and then take longs after that. But yeah, that's pretty much with conflicting and against. And then other winning trades have a clear direction. That's what we want to get for, like clear direction and neutral or or favorable bias, right? So yeah, and then yeah, high time from and medium time from continuation are ideal, but we also accept high time from retrace, medium time from continuation. If we do a retrace on both, it's a bit harder. You gotta get pickier. Um, you gotta get picky on retraces. Then after that, in terms of entry confluences, we gotta combine at least two. Can't just trade off of a simple low volume node. I feel like if we align a low volume node with a fib level or New York VWAP or overnight VWAP, then it's stronger. So yeah, that'll be pretty strong. And don't fight all time highs. Lesson freaking learned, bro. It's something that I knew in the past. And it's just like I figured like if the setup's clear, take it. But if we're like really close to all time highs, like what would you take it? You know what I mean? Unless it's like strong displacement, retrace, and then continue. Like it's a different story than if you're seeing failed buying at the highs. Yeah, but you're at all time highs. You're gonna see failed buying. So, and even after seeing the failed buying, we're probably gonna continue higher if it's all time highs. So. Yeah, it's just stupid that I actually had to learn the lesson through experience for something that I already knew. Just had to reinforce the lesson, I guess. But yeah, in terms of entry confluences, I was saying combine at least two. Some of the ones that I've seen work the best: low volume node, high volume node, fibs, VWAP. That's actually what I wanted to check really quick. If we open our Notion really quick and look at our filter winners, and then just look at our entry confluences, so kind of focusing on this over here. We're also gonna filter whether ground price prior or not, so we're gonna do this, and we'll probably see good population here. All of them see failed buying. I see low volume nodes all over the place. CBD is mentioned in pretty much every one of them. Low volume node, low volume node, low volume nodes are in all of them. Value area highs and lows are used in some of them. Seeing some VWAP bands here and there. VWAP retest, VWAP, VWAP band. So okay, like seeing quite a few that are using VWAPs. Same thing as the other one. I don't think I used that many fibs on this one. We know this one was fair value gap, CVD divergence, 50-minute inversion. This one was like a lot of context behind it. This was context heavy. This trade was context heavy. I'll say that. Because I remember even my mentor told me, like, dude, if you have that much context in your favor, take it. Like, take it even in pre-market. Because I had all the context, like, an hour before market opened. I knew we were going to trade towards all-time highs that day. It was just, like, insanely clear. This one, VWAP was in our favor. Disrespected fibs on this one as well. 15-minute inversion, low time frame, low volume node. Clear stuff. And when I say low time frame, low volume nodes, I usually mean ones that I find on Bookmap, not just the ones from TradingView, because the ones from TradingView, from what I understand, they're based on tick volume, which is not the same as actual real volume. Alright? Then next one, upper VWAP and value area high time frame, session highs and lows, high time frame, low volume, like it's a lot of context, right? So yeah, crazy stuff. This one, VWAP, high time frame, low volume node. Value area low for value gap. It's not necessarily. There's not necessarily that much in terms of. I think it was also just a clear strong trend. Yeah, like a strong trend in the overnight, and then retrace off open, and then continue higher. I think this was also all-time highs. Yeah. Next one. Um, all-time highs. Great read on Bookmap. I remember this one. It looked like buyers accumulating orders, like buyers showing at the lows and then breaking out. Enter when the buyers were breaking out. VWAP, low volume node. I think this might have actually been a 382. A 382 off of New York session. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was a fib level. Expected IB break, VWAP retest, low volume node, 5-minute sweep, reaction on VWAP. Oh yeah, because we had a sweep of that 5-minute. Because I'm pretty sure I took a loss before this one. So yeah, 5-minute gap as well. CVD difference. CVD was actually in favor on this one, but yeah. Next one. Yeah, a lot of confluences in our favor. Internal low volume node. I took a long before this, stopped out. I realized pretty quickly that I was wrong because we created that low volume node, retested it, saw failed buying in there. VWAP, fib up, like a lot of confluences in our favor. Once again, low volume node, fibs, VWAP, low volume node, fibs, VWAP. Like there's a pattern here. And I'm starting to see it, and I'm starting to like it. Okay, this is good. This is what I wanted to see. This is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see because I thought to myself, I'm not gonna trade unless I see a low volume node or a high volume node. Clearly, good trades have a low volume node in them. Clearly, if not, it's a fib and a VWAP, and it's like a clear retest or a clean break. You know what I mean? Like with fibs, it's gotta be a retest, but it's clean. It's funny seeing stuff like this be easy, or easy to understand in a sense. This one, internal low volume node. I'm gonna lose it from saying internal low volume node so much. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. This makes me be confident in knowing what to take. Wow. Yeah, because this one was oof. New week opening gap is a great confluence. Medium time for reversal, yeah, but we're a new week opening gap, right? Liquidity sweep, yeah, sure, but new week opening gap once again. Low volume node. Towards session highs, failed buying, reaction of low volume node, because we also had the internal low volume node and the CVD in favor. Low, higher low, low, higher low. So lesson to learn: low volume node, high volume node, fibs, VWAP. Those are my key confluences. If I can't frame at least 2 of those, no trade. And you can call me out on this. If you see me taking a trade that doesn't have one of these, call me the frick out, okay? Clear direction, TPs. Ideally, high time frame continuation, medium time frame continuation. If it's a high time frame retrace, it needs medium time frame continuation. If I'm looking for a retrace on both time frames, I'm gonna have to be aggressive with my stop loss adjustment. Same thing for trades that are rooted in a conflicting bias or just against my overall bias. I'm gonna have to be aggressive with my stop loss placement. Then confluences, the more the merrier. Combine at least 2. Don't fight all-time highs. Beware of confluences against me and manage trades accordingly. Then gonna be adding a box that allows me to say it's either conflicting or there's clear direction or just neutral. All right. Retraces gonna be picky, waking up at 8 a.m. Eastern. So this helps me actually set targets, or not actually targets, set goals for the month, for the upcoming month. As we are closing October, this new month, I feel like I can do a lot. At the end of the day, I lost 1 account. That's it. Nothing wrong with that. Happens to everyone. It's happened to me multiple times, and at this point, gotta accept that if I make mistakes, I'm gonna pay the price, right? So hopefully I'll catch y'all tomorrow with a banger trade. or maybe just a no trade day because it is a no news Friday. It's been a crazy week with earnings, FOMC, trade negotiations. So like tomorrow might be dead, honestly. So yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. If we maybe fill in that new week opening gap, and then we go into TGIF, and then just buy the dip, or just continuation to fill the gap. I could see either of those playing out, and yeah, gonna have to respect my sleep schedule. Gonna be coming up with my rules, like kind of like my goals, right? Respecting these, ooh, respecting them. I feel like I could do a pretty good job at that. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up, guys. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.